Have you ever been in a situation where God gave you insight about your future, and rather than waiting to see how God brings it to pass, you came up with your own ending? During this episode, I will talk about how God's thoughts and ways are not our own by sharing my own experiences and Bible stories with you. So join me as we dive into our first Made Beautiful podcast episode, It Ain't What You Think. Good morning, beautiful. Welcome to the Made Beautiful podcast. I am Coach Quay, and today our topic is It Ain't What You Think. Ladies, I'm so excited about this topic because God has to put me in check sometimes, because what God does is He gives us insight, and He gives us insight about our future in our careers. He give us discernment when we're dealing with people. He also, even if you have ministry, He gives you insight of what that ministry would look like. You may not know all details, but He does give us insight. And ladies, I don't know about you all, but when I get the insight, I get so excited, and I start doing all this planning and have ways of how I think things should go, or I start to go by what the world say this thing's supposed to look like. Like if I'm trying to start a ministry, how does it look? Like what are the steps are we supposed to take in order to start a ministry? Or if I'm supposed to have my own business, what are the steps that I need to take to have the business? Now this is good, but we also need to make room for God to have his way. Now, we're going to go deeper into this topic, but I also wanted to tell you ladies a little bit about the Made Beautiful community. If you go to my website, which is www.madebeautifulbygod.com, you would see that there are a few things that we have coming soon, or a few things that we have going on right now. Now, if you're a woman that needs encouragement, or you're looking for somebody to walk with you in your journey with Christ to get where you're supposed to go, ladies, that's me. I'm Coach Quay. I'll be happy to do that for you. And how am I qualified to do this? I'm qualified because God qualified me through the suffering, through trials and tribulations that he has taken me through. Made Beautiful is a community and the place where you can feel safe. And the purpose behind Made Beautiful is to let you know that the trials of your faith is made more beautiful or made more precious than gold. And God, we get tested by fire, but he has a purpose for the testing. And he wants us to know that our suffering and our pain is beautiful to him. And he wants us to find ways to stay in peace and to have joy through it all. So this is a way, is an outlet for you. We have blogs, we have so many things coming up. So check us out at www.madebeautifulbygod.com. So back to the topic. So we're talking about it ain't what you think. And this could happen in so many ways of our lives, because one thing that I have learned is as women, we are helpmates. God created us to be helpmates to our husbands, but we don't just do this to our husbands. For those that are not married, and those that are married, and those that are looking to be married, that's just something that we do. We have skills to be helpers. So what we do is automatically jump to, here's an issue or here's a problem. How do I find the answer? How can I solve it? Well, here's the thing. We are helpmates, but we're getting the answers from God. So what we tend to do is leave God out of the planning or out of certain things, and forget that he is the one that has given us something, or he's the one that has given us insight. So where there's a will, there's a way, and he will give us provision for things that he has for us. So anyway, before I keep talking, I want to go to the scriptures, and we're going to be coming from Isaiah 55. We're going to start at verse 8, and we're going to go to verse 12. So it says, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. As the rain and the snow come down from heaven, and do not return to it without watering the earth and making it bud and flourish, so that it yields seed for the sower and bread for the eater, so is my word that goes out from my mouth. It will not return to me empty, but will accomplish what I desire and achieve the purpose for which I sent it. You will go in joy and be led forth in peace. The mountains and the hills will burst into song before you, and all the trees of the field will clap their hands. Now, this is beautiful because first, the scripture starts off saying how our ways and thoughts are not God's, and his thoughts and ways are higher than ours. And then he says the words that he put out there, they would not return to him void. So that whatever he's telling us, whatever promise he has given us, the things that he's showing us, he's letting us know if I said it, it will come to pass. Why is he saying these things? He's saying it so we won't be worrying and so we won't be putting our 2 cents in it, trying to make it happen. He's giving us insight because he's letting us know why we're suffering or why we're going through certain trials that we're going through. And then he tell us what's going to happen, how it would flourish, like his word will flourish. You will see the fruit when he put out his word. So I wanted to go over those scriptures, but the main thing is how we have to think that our ways are not his ways. And I wanted to give an example or share something that happened to me recently this past summer. It's been a lot of things happening really, but I wanted to share this experience to go along with this topic. I know years ago I had started watching Sarah Jakes, and this is before I had my Made Beautiful community. I wasn't looking to have my own ministry. All I wanted to do was serve God. All I wanted to do, I was happy with sitting under my pastor, who is Pastor Elaine Lattimore. I was so happy sitting under her, listening to the notes, being able to encourage a few people here and there, or wherever God sent me. I was happy doing that. But I was watching Sarah Jakes, and as I was watching her, I heard God say, "You're gonna be doing what she's doing." And I'm like, "What?" I just made this thing up. Then I heard him say that you're gonna get a chance to meet her. And I'm really thinking I'm making this up because I'm okay with where I'm at, where I am. I was okay with being the wife and being the mother. My concern was more about how am I gonna have more kids. So anyway, after he told me this, I didn't understand everything. I didn't understand when he said you're going to be doing what she's doing. I didn't understand. But later on, he started to reveal more to me as I started to seek him more. As I started to be more obedient, he started to reveal you're going to have an all women's ministry. He's not saying it's going to be just like hers or I'm just going to look just like her. He was letting me know that you're going to have an all women's ministry. And not only that, he was saying that you're going to meet her. Why was he telling me these things? Because he was preparing me for elevation. He was preparing me to get ready to walk in my calling. But what happened is when I started to see this Made Beautiful community come up, this all women's, I started trying to do things that I thought they should, the way that I thought they should be done. I started to putting this, making this, doing it this way, and all of these things, and having the pressure of, I want to be able to reach all these women. I want to be able to do all of these things. So anyway, that's what we start to do. We start to try to plan things out. And sometimes we forget that the person that called us to do it, which is God, we forget to include him into the plan sometimes. So anyway, I wanted to share how he told me that I would meet her. So I'm minding my own business this summer, y'all, doing baseball, doing the things that I love. I do have my women's ministry. So we're doing tea time on Saturday morning. And one of the mothers, she um, found out that I like Sarah Jakes. And she ended up getting tickets to go to one of the conference that Sarah Jakes was having in Georgia. And she was going to take her sister, but her sister wasn't able to go. And I thank God for putting um, my friend in my life. I am going to say her name because she does have her own podcast. So you all can go look at that. Her name is Brittany Carmichael. So you can go look at her podcast, A Breath of Restoration. She has a book and everything. So back to the thing. So God had put on her heart to tell me about this situation. Her sister wasn't able to go and she had this extra ticket. So she asked me. if I was interested. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll go with you, you know. And I wasn't thinking about what God had told me, but I do know he said that you were gonna meet her. So when he said you were gonna meet her, I'm thinking I'm gonna meet Sarah Jakes. We're gonna have a good conversation. I'm a good person, she's a good person, you know. So I don't know what I was thinking, but I thought differently than what the encounter went. I thought it was gonna be at least me being able to say something to her that God would put on my heart and it would be able to encourage her. So I everything happened in the way that God wanted it to happen. I go to this conference with my friend. We have these the best seats in the room. Y'all, I get to this building. I'm already shy, but somehow I end up on the stage for a good dance session in front of all these people. And then I'm waiting for Sarah Jakes to come. I'm waiting to just have this relaxed moment where I'm crying and just giving my heart to God. But I get in this room, ladies, and God is saying, and I'm ready, I'm listening to her preach, and I'm just doing what I came to do. And God is saying, what are you doing? I brought you in this room to be a help. I brought you in the room so you can be on the back end praying and going to war and praying for her while she's up there on the stage. You're coming trying to sit with your legs crossed as you know, and getting your own deliverance. But it's so many women in this room who need a deliverance. And the more prayers going out, the better. And God said, when I told you you're going to meet Sarah Jakes, it wasn't so you can get starstruck or be so excited about the meeting, but so you can know that I will put you in rooms that you felt like you could not go into. And that's what God is saying. Like when I give you insight on situations, it's not for you to be so shocked that you made it to the situation. It's not for you to be so surprised that an encounter happened to you or for you or with you or however you want to put it, but it's for you to know that if I said something, like he said in his word, if I said that you would do something, then I would make it come to pass. If I show you something, then I would make it come to pass. It's not what you think or what you feel. So I'm in the room and I'm praying. I'm like, okay, God, I'm praying, I'm praying, I'm praying. So when I get to Sarah Jakes, we're standing before I get to her. We're standing in this line, and my friend, she's saying all these things that she's gonna say, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna say some things of how just encourage her from a person that minister. It may not be on the level that, as many people as she has, but from a person dealing with ministry, I'm like, okay, well, I'm praying, I'm gonna say some encouraging words. But God let this song come in my mind, and it was Afrobeats, y'all. And I love Afrobeats gospel songs, and I'm just dancing through the line, praising God because he did bring me in the room. He got my mind straight and let me know that if he said it, he would do it. And I go to Sarah Jakes and I'm just dancing. I'm like, hey, beautiful. And that's all I say, y'all. And walking away. Gave her a good smile, hug, and walking away. And just dancing. And Sarah Jakes touches my shoulder and she's like, well, did you enjoy the show? And I'm like, yeah, girl, I loved it, and just walked away. Y'all, for some reason, this encounter, like how I handled it, caught me off guard. Like I had things to say, but God had handled me in a way to where I couldn't do what I wanted to do. And God said, I didn't bring you here for that. I brought you here to go to war. I brought you here to let you know what I can do and what I will do. And I brought you here to build up your confidence. So even when we go into situations and we think it's going to happen a certain way, we can't down ourselves when it goes differently because it means that God planned for you in that situation happens differently. Well, what about dealing with people? God will give you insight or you'll have discernment on what a person is going through. And sometimes when you discern what a person is going through, sometimes that thing is against you. So when God is showing you something that's coming up against you, he don't want you to run away from the person. He don't want you to treat that person differently, but what he wants you to do is to go into war for that person. He don't, so we have to think our thoughts are not God's thoughts. So when he gives us things and he shows us people, we have to realize and really pray about, God, what do you really want me to do? Rather than getting in my flesh or doing it my way, what do you really want me to do? Because it's things that we cannot see. It's a spiritual warfare going on that we cannot see. So God, what are you calling me to do? Because I know that the way you think, I cannot think that way. The way you move, I do not move that way. So how do it? So his thoughts are not our thoughts, and situations are not always what you think. The way something look or feel, the ending of it is not what you think. So we have to just get planted, talk to God, and think and say, Lord, how do you want me to move in this situation? Thank Thank you for spending time with me today. Remember, you can follow me on Instagram at CoachQuay22. Also, check out my website at www.madebeautifulbygod.com. I'll see you next time.